I'm Cubeoid, and this is my RotaryCraft tutorial number 8. At least I think it's 8. Of course, it will be in the title. Some odd lines from the shaders. Oh, I see. It's a shadow. Okay, it's how the shadow. Okay, never mind. In this episode, I'm going to be covering some really important things, or at least kind of two really important things. And some other things that are less important, but still they're not meaningless. They're just, I should have gone over them before because they are the flywheels, and I kind of skipped over them along with a bunch of other stuff. But this is the last video where I'm going to cover kind of a new machine. Not really a new machine. I'm going to cover, you know what, it doesn't really matter, but the next couple of episodes of the RotaryCraft tutorial series I'm doing will be mostly machines that should have been covered already, or kind of miscellaneous machines, but are helpful, and I'll show how to craft and use them and all sorts of stuff. But let's just get into this episode. So first, you'll want to craft these flywheel cores. So if you want to craft the flywheel, it requires a flywheel core, and the wood one is any type of wood plank around a steel gear. Stone one is stone surrounding a gear. Can be any type of stone, I believe, any type of smooth stone. Like, I'm saying that because of geostrata. Let me just show. I don't think oh, that's chisel. Where's geostrata? Did I skip over it? It kind of doesn't really matter, but I still want to show you. Here we go. Geostrata is another kind of mod I should show off, kind of like a mini mod. But let's just kind of get like some smooth granite. I could be completely wrong about what I'm about to do, but yeah, I'm completely wrong. So I almost spread false information there. Good thing I checked it. Should have checked it before. But stone flywheel, you can only use Minecraft smooth stone surrounding a steel gear, so that's good. And for the iron flywheel core, of course, it's iron ingots, 8 of them, surrounding a steel gear. And for the gold one, you've probably already used your common sense, but it's 8 gold surrounding the steel gear. And to actually make the flywheels blocks themselves, it requires the core above a mount in the work table. So the wood one is the wood flywheel core of the mount. Stone ones, well, stone flywheel core and a mount. The iron one's an iron flywheel core over a mount, and the gold one is, of course, the gold flywheel core over a mount. And these things do have some important stats that you should be aware of before you decide to play around with them. Once I'm done kind of showing this off, I'll go show you how to use the flywheel. I have not actually found a good reason to use a flywheel, except for if you have an engine that, you know what, I should just explain it when I'm showing off the flywheel functionality. But okay, so each flywheel kind of has 3 basic stats. The max speed it can spin at, and the torque required to spin it up, and the max torque they can output. That will all make sense later. So for the wood one, the max speed you can spin it at before it explodes is 2,981 radians a second, and the torque required to spin it must be at least 4, and the max output torque is 16 newton meters. And for the iron one, it is the max speed before it explodes is 3,265 radians a second. Required torque to spin it is 32 newton meters, and the max output torque is 128 newton meters. So actually, I just thought of something. If you have an engine that can't produce the amount of torque, you could probably spin this thing up and provide a little boost of torque for a bit, but then it'll probably slow it down and stuff like that. But yeah, and along with the flywheels do have a max power they can output, and that is related to the max speed and max torque. But that doesn't really matter right now. So the max speed for the iron one is 6,751 radians a second. Did I call that the iron one? That's the stone one. If I called the stone one the iron before, I'm sorry. But this is the iron one. So max speed 6,751 radians a second. Required torque to spin it is 128. So So this stone flywheels require, you know what, that doesn't matter. So yeah, and the max output torque is 512 newton meters, and the gold one actually has a lower max speed before it explodes, and I think the gold one explodes the most violently. I can show a little clip of me exploring that at the end of this video. It also relates to how, you know, it does how much stored up kind of energy is in the flywheels. But yeah, you know what, probably not. I probably won't have a clip in the end of the video, or will I? You know what, you'll know if you watch the end. And for the gold one, max speed before it explodes is 1,410, so the less than the wood one, but it can store up the most power, and the required torque to spin it is 1,024 newton meters, and the max output torque is 4,096 newton meters. So we have got that over with. How to do the flywheel. So I just have a gasoline engine spinning this wood flywheel. Just go and get some stuff that's required to show this thing working. I'll show you their handbook entry. Come over here into basic terms. You will find kind of the flywheel load limits. So just at the start of the book, click the next page twice and it should be here. It's on page 2. So flywheel load limit. So these are the failure speeds of flywheels. Exceeding these will result in violent failure, and it just kind of tells what I had over there on the signs, as well as if let me just by holding shift over it, it says the max speed, required torque, and max torque. If you just put your mouse over it in your inventory and hold shift, so that's also useful. And I'll show you the actual entry. So I don't remember what page it is. It is page 7, flywheel. So flywheels store rotational kinetic energy. They take some time to spin up to the input speed, but when they do, they keep spinning for some time, providing a more steady power output to a machine than a shaft hooked up to a varying input. Heavier materials make better, more efficient, and more powerful flywheels, but take more torque to start moving. Spinning one of these too rapidly will result in a violent and destructive failure. Flywheel deceleration is based on the torque requirement of whatever they are running. Unconnected, they spin forever. So I'll show you what that means. The flywheels do make a noise. You will hear that in a second. There. That kind of minecart sound is the flywheel. I actually don't have any idea how loud this is on the recording, and I don't feel like completely re-recording this because it's too loud, so it shouldn't be too loud. No, I'm just going to open it to LAN so I can have that run in the background. And I'm just kind of looking at my the Windows pop-up things covering it. 1 second. There we go. Okay, so my voice is shows that my voice is definitely louder than the desktop audio, so that's good. Yeah, the Windows pop-up was covering the sound thing window, so that was annoying, but I kind of moved it to the side a little bit. Yeah, so you can see it does take some time to spin up to the speed of the input, and here you can kind of see the what it means by max torque. So you can see the input is 128 newton meters, but the wood flywheel is only outputting 16, and it does have a max power based on the speed and max torque and that stuff. So yeah, now if I turn off the engine, I don't think I'll need that again. You can see it keeps on spinning and doesn't lose power until something uses it. So if I put that floodlight there, the floodlight is definitely on, it's running, but you can see the power is not going down. I know it's blocked by this fence here, but it's on. That's all you need to know. It's working. And wait a minute, did that just slow down a little bit? It did. So yeah, so the floodlight doesn't really have a minimum torque requirement, but I think it doesn't show it, but I believe it has one anyways, but it's just very low, probably like one like Newton meter or less. But you can see it does slowly decrease the power of the flywheel, but not by much. And yeah, so see the floodlights was definitely running. So this wood flywheel could power this floodlight for quite a long time. But if you put something kind of torque intensive on, such as the grinder, which does have a minimum torque requirement, you can see it starts using up the power of the wood flywheel quite quickly. They're kind of like a battery for rotational power. So like if you have an engine that you're not able to supply with fuel for 100% of the time, and it's kind of flickering on and off, having a flywheel would be good, because it would provide a more constant supply of power than just the on and off. And yeah, so that's that. I will place the gasoline engine back just in case I need to record this video back, and I don't need to record this video again or use this tutorial thing for any reason. But there, I'll stop the flywheel from making noise, place the dynamometer back. There we go. So this video's been going on for like 12 minutes, but whatever. This might be a fairly longer video. If you are looking through the video to try and find something specific, then there's always the skip 15 seconds, or if you're on mobile, the skip 10 seconds forward. On to the next thing, one of the kind of main thing of this episode, but or not, whatever. So you're not this, but the thing beside it, but this is required for it. So this is the drill. It's not used for much, except in, I'll just show you what you use it for. So to craft it, you require 7 HSLA steel ingots. Put them in a crafting station like that. You get your drill. The drill is used for many things: the boring machine, extractor, pile driver, block drop processor. It can be smelted into steel. It can be casted using the drill cast. Wait, you can cast a drill. If you remember if anyone watching this video has watched the first RotaryCraft tutorial I did, you will know, or was it the second one? But in one of those I showed that you can cast things using the smeltery, and you can make actual casts of them, and then cast this. So instead of this crafting recipe here, you can save some steel, or don't save steel, but I don't know how much steel it takes to actually cast the drill in the smeltery, but it doesn't matter. You can test that out yourself. How to make the actual extractor. So it requires the drill, 2 steel ingots, 1 wood plank of any type, I believe, 1 stone, 1 impeller, 1 netherrack, 1 shaft unit, and a base panel, and that gives you 1 extractor. An interesting looking block. It's got all sorts of stuff. Got the netherrack, got the thing. I think that's supposed to be some sort of like press. I think that's what that kind of piece is supposed to design to look like. That's supposed to be like the mixer stage, and I think this is supposed to be the grinding stage, this one. I'm just kind of commenting on the design of it, but yeah, it's a very complicated block. Some people have complained that the extractor should be split up into 4 different blocks, because this thing has 4 stages. This thing works a lot like the grinder in terms of ore duplication, except instead of multiplying it by 3 every time, this thing has the chance to multiply it I think 8. 1, 2, so 1, 2, so 4, 6, 8, maybe 12. I don't know, but here I'll show you the info on it. So the extractor is used to get more material out of ore. First it grinds ore to dust, then mixes it with water to form a slurry, then presses that slurry through a filter to obtain a liquid solution, then burns the result to obtain ore flakes. These flakes can be smelted in a furnace to obtain a unit of the ore's material. Each stage in the extractor has at least a 50% chance of doubling the output. The machine's requirements are complex and vary from stage to stage, but a supply of water 512 newton meters of torque at 8,192 radians a second will run all 4 stages. I think that's possible using the blocks and engines I've shown so far, but I'm just kind of showing you the basic use, and not really the basic use, but the basic requirements to run it. Then probably later I'll show you a more advanced way of running it. But yeah, so stage 1, it shows all the powers here. I'm not going to read these out. Power input bottom, and stages 2 and 3 require a water supply, and it can be upgraded with bedrock drill, but that is far ahead in this mod. Yep. Some people have complained about this machine should be split up into 4 separate blocks because this one thing is too powerful. What Reika, the creator of the mod, has said about that, and I kind of believe him as well, is that having it all kind of in one block is more complicated than having a whole bunch of separate ones, because well, it's just this thing requires so much power and torque and speed to run it, and it all needs to be provided to one block. And if you had 4 separate blocks, sure, it require 4 different engines, but you'd be able to run all 4 of them probably fairly early on in the game, because each one could have a different engine, different gearbox requirements. Well, this one you'll have to switch your gearboxes and stuff like that to run different stages if you can't power each one at once. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So if you just come over here, you can see I have the Extractor, a gasoline engine. I know I have the I know the AC electric engine. The AC electric engine is more powerful than the gasoline engine, but I'm using the gasoline engine because the AC electric engine does not actually work with this setup I have right here. You could using some fancy gearbox setup, you could probably get it to run faster than what I have here, but this is what I have. So I'm just gonna get some ethanol crystals. Yeah, this thing's full of lubricant, and then I'll grab some ores. Now, this thing is not just special because it can multiply an ore by almost 12, I think. I'm just going to put the ethanol crystals. Actually, I still have some from my inventory here. You know, whatever. That's no point managing my inventory on this tutorial. But you can see this gearbox is set on torque. I need a screwdriver, which I should have had in the chest, but apparently I forgot to put it in. So I'm just going to move these all over by one so I can put a screwdriver in there if I need it for later. Okay, so you can see this is steel gearbox is set on torque, and it's running here, and you can see it's powering all the stages except the 2 middle stages. So if we put some iron ore in here, you can see it'll start drilling it. Yeah, it goes slow. The texture pack I have for RotaryCraft is outdated. I don't know. I think I said in episode 7, which was the last episode, where I got the texture pack from. It's from the Revolution 3 mod pack. I took it out of it quite a while ago because I thought it was cool and I couldn't find it anywhere else. I have no idea who created it, but yeah, and it's kind of outdated, but there might be a new version of it, I don't know. But there's supposed to be a bar here that shows the durability of the steel drill, and when that bar gets down to 0, this machine will cease to function. And I believe you can right click on it with a steel drill and it will fill the little bar that's supposed to be right here up. But yeah, and so you can see this has duplicated it into iron ore dust. You can see we have 4 iron ore dust here, so it has duplicated it here. So it's 50. So again, it's every time it does a stage, it has a 50% chance of doubling. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. So my mistake for saying 12. It has an 8%. It has a chance to, out of 1 iron ore, to make 8 iron ingots. But yeah, so I may have done my multiplication completely wrong, and because I have just come back from school and I'm dehydrated and whatever, but who cares? It's Minecraft time. and I've completely forgotten what I was about to say. Oh yeah, so to actually get the speed part, you need to use your screwdriver and turn your steel gearbox to speed. Wood and stone gearboxes will break, so you do have to use a steel one for this. And you can see here, it's now, this is the stage that uses water, same with this one. And you can see it turning the ore dust into iron ore slurry. And I don't know, has it duplicated any yet? I don't know, but it has a chance of duplicating it there. Yep, so I'll just kind of let this go. It's fairly slow using that, but if you kind of have a bunch of ore, put a hopper on it, and wait. Oh yeah, because you can't put a hopper on the bottom of this thing. So from an earlier tutorial, I believe it was the RotaryCraft tutorial 5, I showed how to use the pneumatic item pumps and that stuff. You might need to use a pneumatic item pump to pump the stuff out, then into the chest to automate it. But you can see we have 9 iron ore solutions, so you can make more than 8. You know what? I'm not even going to attempt to count again because my brain is not okay right now. It does not seem to know whatever it's doing, but yeah, so that's 2, 4, and then wait, so 2. I wonder how many people watching this video are just like, his multiplication is not okay, and you are correct, my multiplication is not okay, especially not right now. But that's beside the point. So 2, wait, so 2, 4, 8. What? Oh, I'm stupid. I just realized what happened there. Per ore, I think it has an 8 chance of at max making it 8, and I put 3 in there, right? No, 2, and I got 9. So, oh, okay, yeah, I should go to sleep early tonight. Enough talking about me not getting enough sleep. Okay, back to torque, and you can see it's running this last stage here, and this last stage I think is the longest out of them, but you kind of get the point. I'll just let it go there. Again, this video is already up to almost 23 minutes, so this might be a longer episode. This will be a longer one. But just, you can skip through to the specific parts if you feel like it. So, I'm just going to wait for this to finish. It does take quite a while again. I have already said that. There we go. So you can see we have an iron ore flake. Now you know how this thing works. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, turn this thing off. There we go. Put these in my inventory. Throw this out. Clear that. There we go. Grab these 2 things back because I require those. There we go. I'll tell you guys what this is. This is industrial coil. It can't be crafted. This specific one, industrial coils can be crafted, but they require bedrock and diamond and all sorts of stuff from late game. But this is actually a creative one. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the RotaryCraft menu, down at the bottom here, it says industrial coil, infinite power for creative mode. This coil does not deplete, so you can pretty much put it on the ground and you can type in whatever output speed and torque you want. The output torque does have a maximum for that, and by applying a redstone signal, it goes. Surrounding these in wool will not quiet them down. I have tried. But you can see this one, I have max possible power going right into this extractor, and you can run it here. That is a bedrock shaft. So it does look like where it says power here. Some of these gauges are empty. This thing does have enough power. These gauges are just glitched out because it is getting so much power, and you can see I have a water pipe going up behind here. I just set this up so for testing purposes and demonstration purposes, so you can see the real power of this thing. So I'll kind of show you how, before I'll turn this off. Okay, I'm kind of, what should I do next? This mod RotaryCraft does have some special, so to get to the higher level stuff, you do need to get some special, where is it, is it in items? Yeah, it's here. You do need to get some special things, such as, where is it, aluminum powder and tungsten and that stuff. And like if you look for aluminum powder, you go to recipes, no recipes, click the R button, nothing. For tungsten flakes, you can grind tungsten ingots, and that can be made by just cooking tungsten. But this machine's special is because by extracting ores, specifically iron ore or redstone ore, you can get special outputs. So I'll show you all the recipes here. So this is coal. So coal can give you pitch blende, which is uranium from RotaryCraft. I should really show the start of a tutorial on that mod, but yeah, that's something to work on another day. So for extracting iron, there's every time it cooks the iron ore solution to the flakes, there's a 2.50% chance that you will get tungsten flakes. I think that's what it is. Yeah, and here it says, so on average, each ore will get you about 5 flakes. So an improvement. So gold ore can give you silver flakes. Iron ore can give you aluminum powder. That is special, and I will show you what that will be used for later in this episode. Lapis can give you aluminum as well. Diamond can't give you any special things. Emerald can give you ruby. Nether quartz can give you Certus quartz. If you don't have what's the mod called? Applied Energistics. If you don't have Applied Energistics, I don't think this will happen. It'll give you Certus quartz. I don't think that'll be a thing. Or if it is, then I don't think you'll actually be able to use them. So tin gravel ore gives you nothing. Copper ore from electrical age can give you gold ore flakes. Lead can give you nickel. Nickel can give you platinum. Silver can give you iridium. Aluminum can give you nothing. Firestone ore from RotaryCraft can give you nothing. Certus quartz can give you nether quartz. Uranium can give you nothing. Mercury, nothing. Amber, nothing. Air infused, nothing. Fire infused, nothing. Water infused stone, nothing. So these are Thaumcraft ores. I'm just going to go through all of these. You can skip this part if you want. I'm just going to go through all of these. Nothing. Apatite, nothing. Saltpeter, nothing. Peridot, nothing. Ruby can give you aluminum. Sapphire can give you aluminum. Cobalt can give you nickel. Erudite, I think that says, can give you nothing. Platinum can give you iridium. Sulfur, nothing. Pitch blende, nothing. Cadmium, nothing. Indium, nothing. I think that's how you say that. Fluorite, nothing. Ammonium chloride, nothing. Calcite, nothing. Magnetite has a chance of giving you iron ore. Magnetite's from RotaryCraft. Thorium can give you no special. Draconium, no special. And back at the beginning. So there's quite a bit of things this extractor can do, but I'm actually going to go here and give myself some lapis and put that in this chest over here for use in this kind of tutorial zone later. My voice is getting all crackly. That may have made it better or worse. I have no idea. But yeah, enough chitter chatter. I should show you how. Whatever. Okay, so iron ore, let's put that in there. You can see how fast it goes. So even though it says there's some iron ore dust there, that is just a ghost item. If you exit, click it, it's gone. It doesn't actually exist. And we got 4 tungsten flakes from that. So a stack of iron ore can generally give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks of iron ore and 40 ore flakes. I mean, 5 stacks of iron ore flakes and 40 iron ore flakes and about 4 tungsten flakes. So tungsten's much more rare than aluminum. I'll show you that. So if we extract this redstone here, I'm just going to do that. So you can see a lot more. We didn't, for some reason, at that generally you get more redstone than iron when extracting. I think that may just be me, or when I was testing before, I may have just had some luck with that. But aluminum is much more. I don't know what is that. It's much easier to acquire than the tungsten. I'm just going to fill up all those blocks, so when I shift click it'll put it in this row. So you can see, well, a stack of iron ore only got us 4 tungsten flakes. A stack of redstone ore got us 59 aluminum powder, which is lots, but you can always get more. And of course, to get redstone and lapis lazuli ore, you will need a silk touch pick. And lapis ore. There we go. So apparently lapis gives you a lot less aluminum than redstone can, so that's interesting. But yeah, you can see the real power of the extractor. I'm actually going to turn it to day. They're much better. I have dwelled on this thing for quite a while now. It is very complicated. I should move on. So this is, I should just show you what to do. So you need a blast. Actually, no. So this is silicon powder. It is used to make silicon. Silicon is used for a lot of higher up items, including the dynamometer over there and the engine control unit, which I will show you, and circuit boards and that good stuff. Go away, bat. Yeah, never mind. I was going to say something, but whatever. So it does. So to make it, it needs to be in a blast furnace, and it requires sand, and in kind of the 3 slots here, the middle one needs to be aluminum. Bottom one has blaze powder. So the aluminum powder has a 25% chance of being used up every cycle, and the blaze powder has a 2.5% chance of being used up. It must be 700 degrees Celsius or more for this recipe to actually work, and it does give you bonus ones. So you put 9 sand in there, it might give you like 10 silicon powder. I'll show you guys how to do it. So aluminum, blaze powder, sand. I don't need that. To get your blast furnace to actually get to 800 or 700 degrees, put a fire underneath it, and that should be the lava combined with the fire should be able to heat the blast furnace to 800 degrees Celsius. This one's just 830 degrees because the ambient temperature in this biome is, well, 30. Yep. So aluminum powder there, blaze powder there, and I'll put the sand here. There we go. Oh, no, not like that. Like this. There we go. So you can see it. Again, the hotter the blast furnace, the faster the recipe goes. This video is almost at 34 minutes, so yay. So you can see I got 11 there, so it does give you the bonus. Didn't use up the aluminum or blaze powder. Let's see about this cycle. So it used up aluminum powder there, but you can see how this all kind of works. I'll show you what a stack of sand can about get you. I'm not going to dwell on the extras required here too much. You know what? I'm not going to show you what that can do. 1 second. There. I have no idea if that helped my voice or not. May have made it worse. It may have not. But let's move on. So another item I should have shown much kind of earlier in the tutorial series is this friction heater, and it's a very simple thing to craft. Just requires 2 shaft units, 2 base panels, and 3 HSLA steel ingots. And it minimum power is 8.192 kilowatts, and minimum torque is 32 newton meters. So if I just come over here, I'll explain what the friction heater does. Is pretty much you give it power, this thing spins, and whatever this end of it rubs against. So in this case the furnace, it'll heat up the furnace. So now the furnace will need no fuel to go, and it can even heat up your blast furnace as well. And in later recipes, the blast furnace requires much higher temperatures, just kind of like the silicon powder there, but so hot that your lava and fire combination will not be able to heat it up enough. So you will need to use the friction heater, and that is certain. Just going to come over here to this furnace. So pretty much what you do is you put the silicon powder in the furnace and you smelt it. But let me just get this. If I click uses, it can be used in the blast furnace to make aluminum alloy. I'll probably show that next. Actually, no. You know what? I'll talk about what's in next episode. So you do need to use the friction heater to cook this, because a normal furnace does not get hot enough, and the required temperature is 800 degrees Celsius, and it takes 10 seconds per. So, yeah. The gasoline engine does not have enough power to power the friction heater to heat the furnace up enough. You do need to use the AC electric engine for this one. So I'm just going to get the shaft core out of there. And you can hear it already going. 1 second. I'm sorry about the noise. It should be fine. I just checked my sound again. It should be completely fine. But I'm going to turn my own volume down on my headphones a bit there. So the friction heater cannot be quieted down with wool. I have tried. But you can see it rubbing against here, and the end part there changes color depending on how hot it is. And Wela will tell you what its temperature is, and and if you don't have Wela installed, I don't know why you wouldn't, but you can use the angular transducer to do the temperature, to check the temperature. Now you can see this thing, the furnace thing where it shows the burn time, it's there, but yep, I don't want that. I want the silicon powder. I want a stack of it. So it's over 800 degrees. It's the AC electric engine, will heat the furnace up to about 894 degrees plus or minus depending on the biome you're in. If I put the silicon powder in there, you can see it'll start going and should give me some silicon. See? Silicon. And that stuff is useful. Now I will stop this engine now because that sound is starting to get on my nerves. And yes, cooking the silicon gives you XP. What the silicon is used for. So I'll kind of show you some recipes here. I mean, recipes that circuit boards, power modules use it. Some stuff from RotaryCraft uses it. So it can be a lot of. One thing I should have said about the tungsten and aluminum powder before is that a lot of other mods add aluminum ore and stuff, and you don't actually require to make it using the extractor. But I am doing this tutorial on the basis that you don't have any other mods installed, or that, you know, whatever, you get what I mean. But yeah, it can be used in photovoltaic cells, so it can be used in place of any other silicone or silicon. But yeah, work table, crusher, all sorts of stuff, arc furnace, good stuff. Let me just check the recipe for the circuit board. Do you have to? So yeah, for the recipe for the circuit board, it has to use the RotaryCraft silicone. I mean, why do I keep saying silicone? Silicone and silicon are two different things. Silicon, the RotaryCraft silicon is the only thing that can be used to craft the RotaryCraft circuit board. So Ender IO silicon will not work. I feel like my voice, as this video is progressing, is slightly disappearing. My voice better not be gone tomorrow, but I will worry about that tomorrow. Oh, my brain has just blue screened and I forgot everything I was doing. Ah yes, the circuit boards. So they do have 3 different recipes. You don't actually need to use silicon to make them. So, but you get more if you use silicon. So for the silicon recipe, it requires 2 gold, 3 gold, 3 HSLA steel, 2 redstone, 1 silicon. That gives you 3 circuit boards. You can also, instead of silicon, you can replace this silicon with an ender pearl, and that gives you 2. And if you don't even have an ender pearl, but you somehow have electrum and copper, you can replace the gold with electrum, and the silicon, or what is this, ender pearl, can be replaced with a copper ingot, but that only gives you 1, so silicon's the way to go if you want to make the most. What the silicon's actually for. So if you want to make a dynamometer, here's how you make it. So first it requires a screen. The screen requires 4 HSLA steel ingots, 1 glass pane, and 1 circuit board. And the dynamometer has 2 recipes. So first recipe is a screen, a mount, a silicon, and a shaft unit, and that gives you 4 dynamometers. Or you can replace this silicon here with an ender pearl, and that only gives you 2. And then what the dynamometer does, just using common sense that a lot of people have, but some people don't. It pretty much, place it down. You can see it has the green and red block. It takes power in on one side. It displays the current power. It takes shaft power in from one side and will display the power, so the power, the torque, and the speed, and output the exact same power on the other side. So you can use it instead of shaft. A kind of cheaty thing to do is, I guess you could use the dynamometer, instead of a shaft. You can see a structure in the distance there. That's from Tech Guns, I believe. And the edge of the other RotaryCraft Tutorial 7 there, you can just kind of see the trees. Oh, and you may have noticed I didn't put cobblestone in place with the small stone bricks this time, so feel free in the comments to let me know if you like the small stone bricks or the cobblestone better. I like the small stone bricks. The cobblestone also looked good, but again, it really doesn't matter. As far as I care, I could just do this tutorial in the middle of the plains biome without any wall around it. But I like putting the wall around it, and I think it actually helps with my frame rate because it doesn't have to show everything else. But enough talking. You can see there, DC electric engine displays the power and outputs it on that side. Simple, useful, good stuff. And another thing that's incredibly useful, this is the engine control unit. I will have to come back to this thing once I get in. Another thing I should have covered earlier, probably in the episode where I made the ethanol tutorial, where I did centrifuging ethanol, I think it was called. I think that was 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that was 4. I think RotaryCraft tutorial episode 4. I showed the ethanol. I probably should have showed the rock melter on that, but I'll probably show it in the next episode. You can actually melt down ethanol and pump it through pipes, and the pipes will only connect to the bottom of a gasoline engine, and the engine control unit goes on the bottom. You know what? I will just show that in the next episode, the pumping of fuel. Engine control unit, how to craft it. 1 circuit board, 6 HSLA steel, 1 gold, 1 redstone equals 1 engine control unit. It has an alternate recipe where you can replace the gold with electrum for some reason. Like if you don't have any gold, I think you can make, you know what, I'm not even going to talk about that. I feel like my voice is even worse than before. Whatever. Engine control unit, you can make it out of electrum instead of the gold. That still only gives you 1. Here's what it looks like. Looks pretty good. Kind of has the steel texture and some kind of like green circuity board things on the inside. Go away, bat. This is my tutorial, not yours. Okay, so how to use it. I feel like I skipped over something. What'd I skip over? I know. Will I be able to find it? Who knows? Resources. Salt, aluminum. So on page 36, you'll find the thing for aluminum powder. So it says, aluminum powder can be used with iron ingots to start a thermite reaction in the fire starter, providing more heat than any other fuel. it is an occasional bonus from the extractor when processing redstone. It can also be smelted into aluminum ingots. There. So, and I think I also forgot silicon. I don't think so. You know what? Whatever. But yeah, I'll also show the dynamometer just for reasons. I don't even know why I should show it because it's very straightforward. But the dynamometer will display its input torque, speed, and power while outputting them to the other side. There, very simple. Now for the entry for the engine control unit. It should be here. No. Here. Here. No. Here. No. Where is it? Here it is. Page 19, engine control unit. So the engine controller can throttle down the fuel-powered engines. When throttled down, they output their useful torque but at a fraction of the speed. The benefit of this is that they consume fuel more slowly. Slower speeds have greater efficiencies than faster ones, though turbine engines do not see as a large benefit. Modes are changed by right-clicking the engine control unit with a screwdriver. The engine control unit can also accept a redstone input, which will shut the engine down entirely. So that's how you control engines using redstone. I don't think it, like it said there, I think it's only fuel-powered engines. So I don't think things like the DC and AC electric engine will do it. I have no idea about steam engines, but you can test that on your own time. Yeah. I forgot to review this block, but I already kind of did that. I'm just remembering the things I forgot to do, but whatever. So pretty much, you place any fuel-powered engine on top of it. I think that applies to steam engines. And you put it underneath, and you take your screwdriver. Actually, I should leave that in there. I feel like something was there at some point, but it's not. Whatever. That is, I can dwell on that later when I'm not recording a video. Okay. Oh, this thing already has fuel in it. Nice. I'll actually break that. There we go. So we could put some fuel in this. Sorry if it's a bit loud. I haven't put wool around it for reasons of obscuring the engine control unit. But yeah. So pretty much when you give it a redstone signal, it shuts down the engine and it will no longer consume any fuel. But shift right clicking on it with a screwdriver will set it to manually controlled, and then once it's in manually controlled mode, right clicking on it with a screwdriver will set it from 100% speed. It starts at 100% speed, then right clicking it once sets it to 0% speed, then to 6.25% speed, then 25% speed, then 50% speed, then 100% speed. And shift right clicking again sets it to redstone operated. So there. There. So I think that's it. Anything else in there? Nope. So I believe this is the end of this RotaryCraft tutorial series. Hopefully you watch the end. Hopefully you watch the next one, and thank you for watching.